So, how's everybody doing today? Beautiful. All right, now this is going to be a little different. I'm going to ask everyone to stick your feet under the pews. That's it. Please stick your feet under the pews, everyone. I just don't want to step on anyone's toes. I'm grateful that I was given this opportunity to speak, and I have been preparing for my next sermonette, and I got the email from Mr. Thomas, and it says, speak on something to do with the holy days, because here we are approaching the holy days. So that changed my mind, and then I thought, I'll speak on a Day of Atonement. I'll give them a gut shot, and I'm fasting. Oh, and then I read the next sentence says, uplifting and joyful things. So now I had to research, and I'm going to speak on the Feast of Tabernacles, which is uplifting and joyful, and we all have some money to spend. It's a beautiful thing. That sure did change my mind several times. If we go to Deuteronomy 16, 13 through 15. Maybe that's not where I want to be. Oh, yeah. Okay, celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles for 7 days after you have gathered the produce of your threshing floor and your winepress. Be joyful at your festival. It's a festival. It's celebrating God and the harvest and the abundance that He gives us. Your sons, your daughters, your male and female servants, the Levites, the foreigners, the fatherless, and the widows who live in your towns. For 7 days, celebrate the festival to your Lord at the place the Lord chooses. For the Lord your God will bless you in all your festival and all the works of your hands, and your joy will be complete. Now, I remember, as Mr. Blakey pointed out, a long time ago, the first Feast of Tabernacles I went to was Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania. Were you there? Okay. And I was there and my whole family, and it was in a tent, a big circus tent. And it's hard for me to think how big, but I remember approximately 12,000 people were there. So it's a pretty big tent to have 12,000 people. And it was, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest feast site that we had back then. And the very first night, we had the services just like we do, and we were in the tent, and it was raining. And as the rain came to where the poles that hold the tent up, some of the rain leaked in, and they ran along these wires, and you would hear an explosion, and the wires. The tent was wired up for electrical wires with light bulbs hanging from them. And as we're in the services, bang! And everybody'd look around. And then we'd go on and bang! And it was quite an experience, first Feast of Tabernacles that I've ever had. I was just a teenager back then, but it's like, oh. So I've had other ones that had a little bit better memories to them, but this was my first one, and I remember hearing, and it was loud explosions, these things. And if you can imagine, it was, I don't know, like a field or whatever, but it had some roads for us to park in the big parking lots, and everyone would get in their cars after services, and we would sit in the parking lot waiting for the ushers to tell us, all right, come on out, come on, all right, this row. And as amazing as it is, was no one was blowing the horn saying, come on, keep going, come on. We all patiently sat there. Now, these same people, not all of them, I'm not going to say everyone, but if it wasn't for the Feast of Tabernacles and they were in that kind of crowd, we might have had a different attitude and blowing the horns and, come on, let me out of here. I've been waiting 15 minutes and haven't moved. And then I heard another member had later says that one of the cities that the feast was held in, the city officials approached the church and wanted our parking lot attendants to come and help them with some kind of concert they were having or something. And it says, because you do such a good job, all the people just sit there and wait their turn. And the parking lot, the church told them, it's not the attendants, it's the people. Because if you put them attendants among the people in the world, they would have no control over mother and say, wait there. But anyway, it was just such a memorable thing that I remember 50 years ago. All right. Let's see here where we're going. Okay, I told you about the first feast, right? And now, as we go to the Feast of Tabernacles, we have this abundance of money that we've saved up, and we can buy things that we normally can't buy or won't buy, whatever the case may be. It's a pleasurable experience, and we receive joy, and with all the brothers and sisters and fellowship that we have, it is just a memorable experience for us. And this Feast of Tabernacles, representing the 1,000 years in the kingdom of God, it is our experience and our opportunity as we attend the feast to learn how to be kings in the kingdom of God, kings and teachers. We learn because we're being taught how to be teachers and growing in the truth and the way of God. And we have to take notes, pay attention, that we can grow so we can pass it on. We're like the middleman. We receive it so we can extend it to others. And for 1,000 years, we will be teaching and training and helping people how to live like God. And they will have the opportunity to know the truth. And there will be no satanic false religion out there. So for this 8 days altogether that we have, it's a tremendous growth period for us. Yes, we have the joy of going to nice restaurants and eating things and drinking good things and fellowshipping, but the main purpose is it's a festival of God. We're to be with God, learning to be just like Jesus Christ. I mean, we do that every week, we do that every day, but it's like an intense opportunity for us. The other important thing for us to focus on, the intense thing that we have. But right after the Feast of Tabernacles is approximately 6 months before the next feast that we have. And just the way the plan, Satan has his way, for those 6 months is his time, because he celebrates Easter, he celebrates Christmas, Valentine's Day, Halloween. I was in the store and I seen Halloween stuff out already. It's like, wow, he's in a hurry. He's given a whole extra month just to see all the scary scarecrows and ghosts and whatever else Satan has in there. So we have to be preparing at the feast to endure not time that we have no time with God, because we attend services every week, but we have to be made stronger so we can go through these times that Satan raises up and tries to get us. All right, well, the Feast of Tabernacles is an oasis of peace, love, and harmony. We must not be lulled into lukewarm Laodicean attitude. We may be surprised it may take longer than we believe or expect before Babylon's system comes collapsing down. We don't know, because I had watched some programs recently, and Mr. Herbert Armstrong was telling us we don't set dates, but I don't see us having more than 1 or 2 years before the return of Jesus Christ. And I thought of those, and I says, oh, I wonder what he would say today about that message he told us back then. So if we turn to Zechariah 14, verse 16 through 19. Then the survivors from all the nations that have attacked Jerusalem will go up year after year to worship the King, the Lord Almighty, and to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. If any of the peoples of the earth do not go up to Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord Almighty, they will have no rain. Now, it will affect us, but we won't need the rain for the food. But the people that we're teaching and training will need the rain for the food. So as kings and teachers, we have to keep them going in the right direction and come to the feast. This way they will have rain for their food. If the Egyptian people do not go up and take part, they will have no rain. The Lord will bring on them the plague he inflicts on the nations that do not go up to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. This will be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all the nations that do not go up and celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles. So that tells us that the Feast of Tabernacles will go on forever and ever, and at least for the 1,000 years, while everyone, or some people, are still humans and the rest of us are spirit beings. We don't know what will happen after everyone's spirit beings, if we will come back from planet XYZ or wherever we are at the time after that, rehabbing all the planets in all the universe. We have a tremendous opportunity, and life will go on forever and ever and ever, in which we can't fathom forever and ever and ever. But I urge you all to go to the feast, have a great feast, but dedicate yourself more thoroughly to growing in the truth of God. Thank you very much.